Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel where we explore the most fascinating legends from around the world. Today, we journey to the heart of Vietnam to uncover a timeless story, a folk tale that has been passed down through generations, teaching a powerful lesson about human nature. This is the legend of the Treasure Guardian. Our story begins in a small, humble village nestled at the edge of a dense, ancient forest. In this village lived a man whose life was a daily struggle. He was a firewood gatherer, a simple man with a kind heart but an empty stomach. Each morning, as the first rays of sunlight pierced through the thick canopy, he would venture into the forest, his trusty axe slung over his shoulder, his back already aching in anticipation of the day's labor. He wasn't seeking fortune, he was merely seeking enough to feed his family for another day. He knew the forest like the back of his hand, every winding path, every babbling brook, and every clearing where the best, driest wood could be found. The forest was both his provider and his challenge, a vast green labyrinth that held the key to his survival. One sweltering afternoon, while chasing a runaway log that had tumbled down a steep, unfamiliar ravine, the man stumbled. He lost his footing on the moss-covered rocks and slid down, landing with a thud in a thicket of overgrown vines. When he pushed the tangled leaves aside, he saw something that made his heart stop. Before him was not just a wall of rock, but a dark, gaping opening, the entrance to a cave he had never seen before. A cool, mysterious breeze wafted out, carrying with it a faint, almost imperceptible shimmer. Curiosity, stronger than his fear of the unknown, tugged at him. He hesitated for a moment, then cautiously stepped inside, leaving the familiar warmth of the sun behind for the cool darkness of the cavern. As his eyes adjusted to the gloom, a gasp escaped his lips. This was no ordinary cave. The walls didn't just glisten with dampness, they glittered with an otherworldly light. All around him, piled high in great, shimmering mounds, were treasures beyond his wildest dreams. Gold coins, sparkling like 1,000 captured suns, cascaded from overflowing chests. Rubies, the color of pigeons' blood, and emeralds, as green as the forest canopy, lay scattered like common pebbles. Diamonds, sapphires, and pearls of every size and shape formed a breathtaking landscape of wealth. It was a king's ransom, a dragon's hoard, a treasure that could end his family's poverty for 100 generations. For a long moment, the firewood gatherer could only stand there, paralyzed by a mix of awe, disbelief, and a burgeoning excitement that made his hands tremble. The sheer scale of it was overwhelming. The initial shock quickly gave way to a feverish joy. "I'm rich! I'm rich!" he whispered, his voice hoarse with emotion. He laughed, a sound that echoed strangely in the silent, glittering cave. All thoughts of his hard life, the endless toil, the constant worry, vanished. Here, right in front of him, was the solution to everything. He immediately began stuffing his pockets, his sack, and every available space with the precious bounty. He grabbed handfuls of gold coins, letting them run through his fingers. He picked up necklaces laden with gems, imagining them around his wife's neck. it. He tried to lift a solid gold statue, but found it too heavy, settling instead for a sack filled to the brim with jewels. His mind raced with plans: a new house, fine clothes, endless feasts. The weight of the treasure was immense, but the elation he felt made him feel as if he could carry the whole mountain. Straining under the heavy load, his back screaming in protest, the man finally staggered towards the mouth of the cave. He was no longer just a poor firewood gatherer. He was a wealthy man, about to step back into the world and change his destiny. But as he crossed the threshold, blinking in the sudden, blinding sunlight, his path was blocked. A figure materialized out of thin air, shimmering with a divine, ethereal light. It was a spirit, tall and imposing, its face stern and its eyes glowing with ancient wisdom. The air grew heavy, and the cheerful sounds of the forest fell silent. The spirit's voice boomed, not with anger, but with a deep, resonant authority that seemed to shake the very ground beneath the man's feet. "Greedy man," the spirit declared, "these treasures belong to heaven and earth. They are not for mortals to plunder. I am the guardian of this sacred place, and it is my duty to ensure its balance." The spirit pointed a glowing finger at the bulging sacks. "Whoever dares to take more than what they truly need, driven by avarice, will face my judgment. You shall be punished for your boundless greed." The man's blood ran cold. The joy and excitement evaporated instantly, replaced by a primal, heart-stopping terror. The gold and jewels suddenly felt like lead weights, dragging him down not just with their physical heaviness, but with the weight of his own transgression. He saw not a new life of luxury, but a terrible fate awaiting him. Trembling uncontrollably, the man fell to his knees. The sacks of treasure tumbled from his grasp, spilling their glittering contents onto the forest floor. He didn't dare look at them. His eyes were fixed on the terrifying spirit, his mind racing to comprehend the gravity of his mistake. He stammered an apology, bowing his head in shame. With shaking hands, he emptied his pockets, letting every last jewel and coin fall to the ground. Then, remembering his family and their desperate need, he humbly picked up a single, small piece of gold. It was no bigger than his thumb, a tiny fraction of the immense wealth he had tried to carry away. He held it up to the spirit, a silent plea for forgiveness and understanding. The spirit watched him, its expression unreadable. After a long, tense moment, its stern features softened slightly. It gave a slow, solemn nod. "You have shown that you can learn," the spirit said, its voice losing its thunderous edge. "Go. Use that to provide for your family. Remember the lesson you have learned here today. Contentment is the greatest treasure of all." With those final words, the divine guardian faded away as mysteriously as it had appeared, leaving the man alone with his single piece of gold and a pounding heart. He clutched the small coin tightly and scrambled away from the cave, not daring to look back. The firewood gatherer returned to his village a changed man, and strangely, that one small piece of gold seemed enchanted. Whenever he needed to buy food or medicine or repair his humble home, the gold piece provided just enough. It never seemed to shrink, always meeting his family's needs without excess. They lived a simple but comfortable life, free from the constant worry of poverty, yet never falling into the trap of lavishness. The man was content. He had learned his lesson in the cave, and he was grateful for the life he had. He never spoke of the cave's exact location, but in a small village, whispers travel fast. Soon, the story of the man who found a cave of gold began to spread like wildfire. The tale of treasure ignited a fever of greed in the surrounding villages. People from far and wide, their eyes gleaming with avarice, began to flock to the forest, searching for the legendary cave. Many found it. They saw the same glittering mounds of gold and jewels that the firewood gatherer had seen. But unlike him, they did not listen to the voice of caution in their hearts. They let greed consume them completely. They filled enormous sacks, fought with each other over the largest gems, and tried to haul away impossible loads. But a strange and terrible fate awaited them. None of them ever made it out of the forest. None of them ever returned to their homes. Their stories ended in the shadow of the mountain. It was said that the treasure guardian, true to its word, had punished them. They were blinded by their insatiable desire for more, and for that they paid the ultimate price. The forest kept its secrets, and the treasure remained protected, a test for all who might find it. And so, the legend was cemented in the hearts and minds of the people. They came to revere the treasure guardian spirit, a powerful entity that watches over the hidden riches of the earth. The story serves as a powerful reminder, told to children and adults alike, while the world may hold dazzling treasures. True wealth is found not in what you can take, but in being content with what you have. The guardian punishes the greedy, but blesses the honest and the humble. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into Vietnamese folklore. If you enjoyed this story and the lesson it holds, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss our next adventure into the world of legends. Until next time, stay curious and remember the value of contentment.